I want to find out whether bees behave differently when they're left to their own devices, without a beekeeper in sight. My guide is naturalist Brett Westwood.
It's a nice spot, isn't it?
It
Quiet
is.
little valley.
It's a lovely little valley. And there they are.
Busy as can be.
Wild honeybees like these obviously don't have the benefit of a ready-made hive, so they've got to rely on natural cavities in rocks or hollow trees like this one.
I'm going to tuck in down here, out of their direct flight line.
Yeah, it's best to be on either side of them. You don't want a face full of wild honeybee.
Well, they'll use the sun and the landscape when they come out to get their bearings. So if you're standing there and they can see your silhouette, you destroy their picture as they emerge, and that's unsettling for them. These are feral bees, aren't they? These are not wild bees.
This one's pretty wild, the one buzzing around me in the moment. It's a good question. I presume they're feral bees, because the big question with any bee's nest out in the wild that's not being managed in a hive is, where did they come from? Are they bees that have just escaped from domesticated colonies, or could there be a remnant of the old British, or the North European dark bee, as it's called, the dark honeybee, sometimes called the black bee? Because some people maintain that they're out there somewhere. It's a bit like the holy grail of beekeeping, this lost British race, which do look appreciably different. I'm going to put this, I think I'm going to put this on. I'm being investigated. That's better.
This is perhaps the closest we'll get to wild bees in the UK today, isn't it?
I think it probably is, but I think they're fascinating because they don't need people around them at all. They're out there foraging, they're building their combs, they're collecting the nectar, and they're raising young and queens and presumably swarming entirely independent of us.
I'll tell you what, why don't we get the endoscope out of its box and you stick it in there and we'll see what we can see from the inside.
Using this specialist camera, we're hoping to get right inside the hidden parts of the nesting cavity, perhaps even finding the chamber where they raise their young.
It was on the...
Can you see?
It's fantastic.
How am I doing?
It's glorious. It gives a lovely perspective, Brett.
Okay.
As steady as you can.
Just going to go a bit
Have
closer.
you been drinking very, very, very heavily in the last 24 hours? That's better.
It's about as steady as I can do. I've just shortened the length.
I've got bees' faces and abdomens filling the frame. They're swarming over the front of the endoscope at the moment. I've got a bee's tongue licking the tip of the endoscope. As you can see all of their anatomy, their hairy bellies, the tongues and eyes.
That's another one. Got me.
Okay.
Would you like a go?
Oh, I can't wait.
Right. There's a face full of bees now.
Yeah.
Split-second images of huge bees looming out at me like a horror film almost. Hairy limbs. Hang on. Hold it. That's it, we've got a comb.
You've got it?
Yeah, we've got the comb. This is amazing. So I've got a view of, these are empty cells, these are, from which the bees have emerged. These beautiful, they look almost like egg containers, hexagonal egg boxes.
These wild bees have created a hexagonal comb just like the one in our hive, but without the benefit of a frame to build it on. This is because it's simply the most efficient geometric shape to maximise the space available to store honey, nectar and pollen. This elegant, mathematical design is repeated everywhere you find honeybees, whether wild or in hives, and anywhere in the world. It's a pattern created by nature, and it's lasted for tens of millions of years. Because it works.
I mean, it's all to do with temperature regulation, isn't it? Where they place the combs, to be able to ventilate them when it's too warm and warm them when it's too cold. So we would expect the brood combs to be in the heart of this tree, wouldn't we? Insulated.
And the honey's even higher up. The honeycomb tends to be higher than that, I think, because they rely on that over winter, so that has to be kept in the warmest place in the tree. It is amazing, actually, to think I walked past this for 3, well, maybe 4 or 5 years, who knows, and I've never, ever had a view quite like this.
OK, I'm going to withdraw it, Brett.
OK?
Something's happening here that we don't often see in our hive. These workers are acting as guard bees, attacking the probe because they think that it's a threat to their colony.
You can see how angry the bees are. They're swarming over the tip of this endoscope. But this is what they're doing, you know, in terms of their duty to protect the nest. They're responding with the swarm mentality. Amazing.
I think, though, probably a good idea to leave them in peace now. They're getting quite excited.
It's been good though, hasn't it?
It's been most enjoyable. I've never seen... Well, enjoyable's probably the wrong word, but it's been revealing.